In this video, we're going to have a look at a very difficult question relating to discriminants, actually. It's kind of hard to notice that you have to use this. It tells you that there's a tangent to a circle, and it's also told you the equation of the circle. It's then told you to find two possible values of m in exact form. Okay, so before we move on, if we draw our circle, we know, sorry, that's a very bad circle. We know a tangent is a straight line in the form y equals mx plus c, just like this line here, that meets the circle at exactly one point. That's a very important part of this question, the fact that there's one intersection. What that means is, when you put the equation y equals mx minus 2 into the equation of a circle, when you substitute one into the other, and you have a quadratic to solve, the discriminant of that quadratic is actually equal to 0, because there's one root or one point of intersection between the tangent and the circle itself. So let's go through that process, substituting y equals mx minus 2 into the right hand side of this, the right expression here. So x squared plus 6x will remain as they are. Y squared will now become mx minus 2 all squared, and then minus 8, lots of mx minus 2 again, plus 5 is all equal to 0. Great. Now, if we think about this double bracket here, mx minus 2 all squared, when you're squaring a bracket, what you're doing is you're multiplying it by itself. So we can write out two brackets with the same terms inside. Mx times mx is m squared x squared. Mx times minus 2 is minus 2mx. And actually, if you multiply minus 2 and mx again, you'll get another minus 2mx. So they're like terms, so you can combine those together to form minus 4mx. Lastly, minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 is, actually I'm going to write that out again, it looks a bit not neat. Minus 2 times minus 2 is plus 4. Minus 8 times mx is minus 8mx. Minus 8 times minus 2 is plus 16. Plus 5 all equals 0. Let's now collect like terms. So if we look at all the x squared terms, there's actually two x squared terms, x squared plus m squared x squared. How can we write that out? Well, we can actually factor out x squared from from these two x squared terms, and say that in a bracket there'd be 1 and then plus m squared. Because when you expand out this bracket, then you'll get to x squared plus m squared x squared. Before we deal with the x terms in a similar term, let's first highlight all the x terms that there are. 6x, minus 4mx, and minus 8mx. You might have spotted that there's already like terms here. Minus 4mx, minus 8mx is actually just minus 12mx. So let's cross that out and write minus 12mx here. And we can circle that. Now that we have all the expressions with x circled, what we can do is factor out x from both of those terms. So let's do that. You can factor out x, and then to go from x to 6x, you multiply by 6. To go from x to minus 12mx, you multiply by minus 12m. And you can close the bracket. Let's now look at all the constants involved. So there's a 4 here, and there's a 16 and a 5. You can add all three of those numbers together to get you 25. And that's all equal to 0. Now, what did I say before? I said that the discriminant is actually equal to 0 because there's one root to this quadratic. There's only one point of intersection where the line is equal to the circle, because remember we put the equation of the line into the equation of the circle. We also know that all quadratics are in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. A is the coefficient of x squared, or the whole term before x squared, which is 1 plus m squared. B is the coefficient of x, in this case that's 6 minus 12m. I think you're starting to see why this is a 7-mark question now. And c is just that constant at the end, 25. Putting them into the expression b squared minus 4 is c equals 0. Let's do the rest of this in a different color pen. I like changing up the colors a little bit. In this case, it's b squared, so it's 6 minus 12m all squared, minus 4 lots of a, which is 1 plus m squared, all multiplied by c, which is 25, equal to 0. Expanding this out, let's do that to the side. So again, when you're squaring a bracket, you're just multiplying it by itself. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times minus 12m is minus 72m. Minus 12m times 6 is again minus 72m. So those two combine to get you minus 144m. And lastly, minus 12m times minus 12m is positive 144m squared. So that's everything on this term here. Let's write that out. 36 minus 144m plus 144m squared. Now 4 times 25 is 100, so I'm just going to quickly write 100 multiplied by 1 plus m squared to simplify things. Now minus 1 times 100 is minus 100, minus m squared times 100 is just minus 100m squared. That's all equal to 0. And let's collect like terms before solving. So 144 take away 100m squared is equal to 44m squared. There's a minus 144m here. And lastly, 36 take away 100. Well, that's equal to minus 64. And that's all equal to 0. Before you solve this, you might have realized all 4 of these are multiples of 4. So we can divide through by 4. And that helps simplify things quite a lot. So 44 divided by 4 is 11m squared. Minus 144 divided by 4 is 36m. And 64 divided by 4. Sorry, my mental maths has gone horrible. I'm learning quite well. This expression here. It's then told you to give your answers in exact form. How you can get in exact form is by using the quadratic formula. You can substitute these values into the quadratic formula. Minus b plus or minus, sorry, let me just write this out again. Plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, where a is the number before the squared term, b is the coefficient of the m term, and c is that number at the end. Substituting that in, we have minus b is minus 36, which is just positive 36, plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 lots of a, which is 11, lots of c, which is minus 16, all over 2 multiplied by a, so 2 times 11. Okay, now if you were to put all this in a calculator, what you would get, I think I wrote the answer down somewhere, can't remember where though. Never mind, I'll just put it into my calculator again, and I'll tell you what you get. So 36 plus the square root of... Oh, I just found what I wrote the answer. Everything will simplify to 18 plus or minus 10 root 15 all over 11. And those are your 2 values of m in exact form. Hopefully that will make sense. If you do have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.